Okay.
So I pressed the button, got it. So I think then it's start recording.
Yes.
Okay, then good morning, everyone. My name is Florian Maurer, and I'm working for the Vorarlberg University of Applied Sciences at the Research Center Business Informatics. Vorarlberg, as you might know, is one of the 9 countries of Austria and the most western one. So we are located in the most western area of Austria, close to the Swiss border and the border to Liechtenstein. And in the north, there is Baden-Württemberg and Bavaria of Germany. At the university, I am performing research within the tension of innovation, innovation management, resilience, crisis-driven innovation, and I'm also doing lectures. So I'm teaching within the fields of philosophy of science, within the field of epistemology, and also I'm doing academic writing courses. And in the past, I also performed more operative and more management-related courses within the field of supply chain management. And here I applied innovative tools like management simulations, starting with the beer game and other methods. Originally, I'm coming from the fields of logistics. So I started my career in 1999 at a logistics company. And in 2006, I changed to an IT company doing software solutions, transport management solutions, and warehouse management solutions for logistic companies. And in 2007, I started my bachelor studies at the Vorarlberg University of Applied Science. So I'm here since 2007, at least as a student. And in 2011, I started my employment. I did a bachelor in business administration, went for an exchange semester to Namibia, and performed a master's study within the field of business process engineering. And in 2020, I received my PhD from the University of Erlangen-Nuremberg within the field of business informatics, but business informatics at the University of Erlangen and Nuremberg that is more related to social science, economic science, and business administration rather than to mathematics and IT. Here at the university, I'm performing a lot of research projects, and they are always in the tension between innovation, digitalization, and resilience and game theory. And some projects, for example, I was investigating into the factory of the future, into digital innovation hubs, and also in innovation and innovation methods. So since we are a very small group today, I would propose that we get a short introduction from you. And I would like to start with Katrina. Maybe you can give a short intro of you.
Okay, just a short. I'm here in Run in a Boost. I'm a project specialist, and my background is from the law. And in this project, I'm just now doing a bit of everything. Just like now, I'm helping Florian.
Thank you. Johanna, maybe you can give a short introduction of yourself.
Yes, hello. My name is Johanna Salmia. I work as a senior lecturer at our Forssa campus in Finland, in Hämeen, at Hämeen University of Applied Sciences. And one of my courses is about innovation methods, and we are having also an innovation days during that, and for our engineering students, and also working on digitalization and user interface design and that kind of things. And unfortunately, I cannot stay here very long, about 20-25 minutes more, so I will listen this later.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Barry, maybe a short introduction from you.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Barry. My background is actually physiotherapy for the last 15 years, but prior to that, I've a undergrad in business, sports management. I studied in TUS, but I'm back now studying my master's in digital health, and I'm looking to go down maybe the academic route of lecturing, but also potentially starting a business at the end of the year. And I realize this is for educators. I wasn't sure. I didn't realize that, but I was told that it would be fine to stay and continue the program, if that's okay.
It's okay.
That is perfect. That is perfect. So
Okay.
it is required to have a very heterogeneous group, so that we can include as many as possible perspectives into the discussions.
Yeah. I really enjoyed, Florian, your class during the I Know Boost program recently. I really loved your part on game theory, so I'm looking forward to hearing more about it.
Yes, it's not part of this lecture today, but
Okay.
we can get in contact, so we can.
Okay.
Meeting.
Okay,
So
thanks.
now a lot of other people joined. Maybe we can continue with Alberto. He was first. Can you give a short intro of yourself, please?
Hi, yes, I'm Alberto. I'm a postdoctoral research scientist here in the University of Burgos. And at the same time, I have a lot of teaching duties. So, yeah, I have been working here in the university since my PhD. So, yeah, these are my main goals. Of course, the research part and the teaching duties.
Thank you very much. Patricia, you joined a little bit late, but you missed nothing. So we're just doing a short introduction round.
Hi, thank you. My name is Patricia. I teach management accounting in Portugal. I do my PhD in Spain, in University of Santiago de Compostela. And sorry late because the time here in Portugal is different and I'm lose the time. Sorry, I don't speak very well English, but I understand everything, okay?
That's okay. Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you, Patricia. And just for your convenience, we can understand you very well. So your English is
Thank
excellent.
you.
And we have one more participant. No, he left. Yeah, anyway, it's very good to have you here in this room. And I highly appreciate that we have a very heterogeneous group, because then we have a lot of different perspectives and different approaches towards the theme that we are discussing within a few minutes. So my agenda for today looks like that. So from now on until 11 o'clock, I would like to let the people speak, doing a kind of a co-creation about the terms creativity and innovation. And from 11:15 to 11:45, I would like to do a kind of a co-creation with the people. So let the people co-create. So how we turn the mind and go into the question, how can people co-create, create creativity and innovation? Since we are a small group, I would like to have an interactive dialogue with you. I always will ask you some questions. And based on my question, I would like to spot then on one of the participants and ask directly, Patricia, what do you think about this topic? Once you gave your perspective on that, then you are able to say, Barry, what is your perspective on this topic? So that we have as much as different perspectives on this question, and then we can discuss and also find a common definition about creativity and innovation.
Well, I don't speak very well English, but I think my students don't think. My students don't are creatives. They only use the technology to copy paste.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand? So
Yeah.
I don't speak very well, and I need in my classes. I need more creativity, more thinking, more use the technology to learn, not to facilitate the tasks. Okay?
Yeah. So from now on until 11, we will have a common discussion, and later after the break, we will get into the technologies, the methodologies, and how to let the people co-create.
Okay.
Okay, then let's start with the first session. So that is about co-creation. Let the people speak, creativity and innovation. And my first question to you is, what is creativity? And the goal here would be that we are developing a kind of a common understanding, a common definition, what creativity is. I know it's a very global question, but it's an essential question, what creativity is. And I think every one of us, every people have a certain degree of creativity inside that. Katrina, what is your approach on creativity?
When I'm looking this picture, I think it's nothing like that. I think creative is feeling, and how you put your feelings to concrete.
Okay. To concrete.
Original, valuable ideas.
Ideas, valuable ideas, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also a thing that you can learn, so you can develop your creativity skills.
Yeah, is to try to generate new ideas from a knowledge that you have. So try to create new value of something that you know, or you know the basis. So this is the creativity.
I think it's something that's unique to a person, dependent on something that comes to their imagination, dependent on the problem that they're facing with.
Okay. So creativity, my hypothesis is every one of us has some creativity inside. So it's, of course, it's about feeling, it's about new ideas, it's about imagination, it's about the generation of new ideas, the generation of new values and new basics. But how does creativity work? How or when do we say this is creativity?
How I say novelty.
Novelty?
Novelty. So thank you. I try. Improve not only novelty, but improve another ideas. I think so. Oh, I'm tired.
Don't worry about it. We can understand you very well, so I can figure out what you're saying, and it's very valuable for us. Paula, good morning. We are discussing right now what creativity is. Do you have or can you share your perspective on what creativity is?
Yes, sure. I say that creativity is thinking different, no? I mean, what you can imagine other situations or other ways of doing the things in general.
Okay, so getting out of your own borders, extend your borders. I had a discussion with the rector a few years ago, and he said it's not always the straight line, so it's also going away from the main route and look what is on the side road. So it extends the knowledge of yourself.
Yes.
Okay, then does anyone want to contribute with some other ideas about or some other perspectives on creativity?
In my interest areas, I need to generate value, and I think that creative must marry with value, usefulness, and it's very important. Creativity to generate value, to improve, to make things with another perspective, with another way, but it's my area, value, additional value, more value, and I need to marry these areas. You understand?
Yeah, I understand completely. I understand you very, very well.
Thank you.
So what I understand under creativity, that is like, it is a phenomena. And the phenomena that is about invention and about discovery. And it's about a kind of a productive thinking. So when we are inventing something, we are definitely on a way of producing something new, to generate something new, to have new ideas, new perspective on a thing. It's also about discovery, so exploring the unknown. So you're thinking about new ways. You're thinking about going beyond your borders, leave a safe zone and go into stormy waters. And it's about productive thinking. how can I combine my new ideas, my new discovery with productive thinking? How can I turn it into a valuable product or in a valuable service or in a add-on that contributes to myself, to the community, to a group, and how will this new thinking then discussed? How will it be used? And how will it be applied? So it's definitely, from my perspective, if it is a constructive process, and it's continuous. So as you can see from the humankind, it was everything, every century was about progress. There is always a progress, and it is a constructive progress. Even in wars, we have some progress inside. It's not the nicest way, but there is always a progress, and we are always creative. Within the management science, we are differentiating between exogenous creativity and endogenous creativity. For example, exogenous creativity is coming from the question, how can we make use of a certain event? So for example, if we have some hazardous event and these hazardous events destroy, for example, our organization or other artifacts that we are familiar with it, there is always a progress. And the question is always, how can we go with this progress? And that is creativity from an outside event. The endogenous creativity then would say, how is my mentality ready to create new values, new products, new services, and so on. So that is, for example, the composition of a piece of music. It's a composition of a poetry. It's also the composition of a new process, a new product, or an innovation. So in the end, from my point of view, creativity, that is an ability, that is a capability and a skill of people to produce compositions, new compositions, to bring it to life and produce new products, new ideas, and ideas that change yourself, your group, your system that you're in, and it's to be creative and discuss and think about that. It's a process of ideation in a single and also in a multiple way. So in a single way, it is kind of, I have some knowledge, and this knowledge, I hypothesize on this knowledge and create a new idea. If I do it in a multiple way, so I'm in a group, and this group helps me to create a new idea. So it's a common development rather than a single development. But once we talked about creativity, what is an innovation then? The question is here, how do we distinct a creativity from an innovation? Or how do we distinct the creativity going into an idea and then bring the idea into an innovation?
Innovation,
Maybe,
sorry.
no, yes, Patricia, your turn.
Gracias, Alberto. Innovation, I think, is put the creativity in action. I think, yeah,
Okay.
it's turn practical our new ideas, put in practice. I think so.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Yes, I think that the same. Creativity is like the way of thinking about a new thing that you want to do, and innovation is trying to do it successfully. Let's say, right?
Okay, to turn the perspective on the development, to bring the creativity on paper and then follow up.
Yes, in my case, I think is the result of being creative, no? And that implies as well a change, no? New things, and also related to improvement.
Improvement, that is also very, very nice. So it's always a continuous improvement process. So we are creative. We would like to develop not only ourselves, but also the system that we are in. Katrina, what's your perspective on innovation?
Well, when I'm looking this picture, I think so. It could be all the ideas are connect together, and you are getting maybe some product or something what you create to the real world.
Yeah, perfect. So it's a multiple. So it's a very broad question, and there are very much valid answers to this question. Barry, what's your opinion on innovation?
Mine is, so adding to something that's already created or putting two things together to create something new. For example, maybe ink. If you put ink into a bit of plastic, you have a pen, right?
Mhm.
Something like that.
Yeah, so combining new things.
Yeah.
They are closely related, but I think creativity is more thinking and innovation is more implementation. No?
Yeah, it's very good. It's your approach, so that is a very good idea from my point of view. Let's go a little bit more into management theory and innovation and technological progress. They are going hand in hand. Since the beginning of humankind, we have experienced a lot of innovations, and innovations that are turning the whole society, the whole economic system, and our whole thinking. So, for example, in Weber, that is a German sociologist, he is differentiating capitalism and the spirit of capitalism. Capitalism, in his thinking, that is something that originated in the 18th century. But the spirit of capitalism, so the constant progress in turning the humankind, turning the technologies, turning the thinking, was always there. But since the 18th of the century, we are structuring the capitalism and exploiting capitalism for the exploitation of resources. In Schumpeter's writing, Schumpeter, that is an Austrian thinker, and he's considered as the Pope of innovation engineering. He's differentiating three items to innovation. Innovation as itself, so the creation of new things. Then also the imitation. So imitation, that means the copy of ideas of, for example, of competitors, and the inclusion of this idea into their own system. And inventions, as Schumpeter highlights, these are ideas, but they are not followed up by the managers or the innovator or the investors. And in Schumpeter's writing, everything is about creative destruction. And creative destruction, that is a constant progress. If we do not creatively destruct our present, then we will not have a future, or we will stuck in the past. And innovation is very closely related to the technological progress, like product innovations, process innovations, or the development of new sales markets, the development of new resources, of raw materials or semi-finished products, or also the reorganization of an organization or the reorganization of a system. So the breaking up of a monopoly, or to develop a monopolistic organization. It is about the technological progress, and it's about organizational measures. Here at the right-hand side of this slide, you can see some economic business cycles. And Schumpeter is differentiating innovation into, or combining innovation with three different business cycles. For example, the big one, that is the Kondratiev cycle. And with this graph, Schumpeter would like to visualize that innovation, basic innovation, that's really turning our thinking, our economics, our technology, and happen every 50 to 60 years. And it's comparable to the Industrial Revolution, about Industry 1.0 until Industry 5.0. For example, the steam or the steam machine had impacts on handcraft manufacturing. Chemicals had impacts on products in agriculture. The assembly line had impacts on the manufacturing of goods. Computer-aided technologies have impacts to the manufacturing of goods, and also the digitalization, the digital transformation within the last 20 years have a lot of impacts on our production of goods and the provision of additional services. The tubular cycle, so that is the smaller cycle, it is a 7 to 11 years or a 6 to 10 years economic cycle, and it is about the economic growth. Here you can identify the investments into distinct innovations that are coming from the Kondratiev cycle. So that is about the investment into capital markets. And it is about the rise and the downturn of distinct technologies. For example, end products, for example, like the blockchain technology. So just 5 to 10 years ago, it was about hype. And at the moment, nobody is speaking about blockchain technology anymore. Or there are some products that have hype, but after 5 to 6 years, nobody is interested anymore in these technologies because they are coming to a standard or get squeezed out of the market. And then we have the smallest cycle, so that is the kitchen cycle, and that is a cycle that happens every 3 to 5 years, and it describes the volatilities in warehousing and in production. For example, in the demand phase, the consumers are requesting the innovation, and the producers and the retailers building up of some warehouse and stocks. In the downsize of this cycle, nobody is interested in the products anymore. And this cycle highlights how the consumers behave, and also how the consumers' preferences get changed. I have some examples, like on the left-hand side, on the top, you can see Steve Jobs. And this picture is coming from 2005. And with the first edition of the iPhone, Apple company completely destroyed the market of Nokia. Nobody asked for Nokia cell phones, and Nokia were forced to disappear from the market and sell its cell phone branch to Microsoft. On the right-hand side, you can see the start of a rocket from Elon Musk and his company SpaceX. So that is the conquering of the universe. It is a mission to Mars, and it's comparable to the discovery of America in 1492. What I want to highlight here is that after the conquering of America, the duration was less than 50 years that, for example, goods from America were commercialized or institutionalized and were exported to Europe. So more or less voluntary, more or less voluntary, but the question is more about how long will it take if we have a leg on the Mars? How long will it take to export the resources from the Mars to the Earth? In the middle, I have a picture on the left-hand side coming from AT&T. AT&T was a monopoly organization in America until the middle of the 80s. They were embedded into telecommunications, but after the cell phone technology, they completely lost their monopoly situation and had to give space to competitors. They missed to build up some market barriers and prohibits the entrance of new competitors into the market. But also Google and Microsoft are turning our economic phase. So just 20 years ago, there was no discussion about the interconnection of business systems by using internet. But a lot of technological creativity, and this creativity turned into innovation, made it happen. So that we are get connected by using Zoom was not possible 20 years ago. The left, so in the bottom, the left hand side picture Here I would like to demonstrate the continuous engineering of processes. So we are continuously think about processes and how we can make them more effective and more efficient. So we are coming from a good process and always do a kind of a re-engineering, thinking about creatively how to do it better and bring it to the best. And that is a continuous creative performance, and it results into innovation. And on the right-hand side, at the bottom, I would like to emphasize on the rise of artificial intelligence. Also, artificial intelligence is not a new invention. It already was discussed in the 50s of the past century. AI in this month and this year has a kind of a revolution instead of an evolution. So it's highly discussed in the academic and also in the industrial landscape. And following some statements, AI has the potential to revolutionize the economic, the financial landscape, the society, and everything. And in the meanwhile, we are not talking about artificial intelligence anymore. We are talking about super intelligence. Some more examples that turned our that is coming from creativity resulted into innovation and changing our thinking. That is, for example, landline phones versus mobile phones versus online phones. So who is using landline phones anymore? Every one of us has at least a mobile phone, one mobile phone, yeah, even not more. And that we are getting connected through Zoom, that was, as said, not possible 20, 25 years ago. Or who of you are using printed encyclopedias? I can remember when I was a student, the professors requested me to use Wikipedia. But who is using Wikipedia anymore? Who will use generative AI like ChatGPT instead of Wikipedia? So we are turning to a new thinking caused by creativity, human creativity, but also to technological and artificial creativity. Who is using newspapers? And who is using online magazines? Or the fourth example would be the physical sound or movie carriers versus MP3 players or music and video stream services. Also, we have a creative shift in the hotellerie, the tourism. For example, here we have Uber, or we have Airbnb that enables us to be more dynamic and more flexible. And since all of us are coming from a university, there is a turn from face-to-face lectures and trainings to distance learnings and online schools. So schools, business schools, high schools, universities of applied science face new competitors. Competitors that offering their services in distance learnings and in online schools. So you don't have to go to Vorarlberg anymore if you would like to do a study course on international business, for example. So everything is online. What I would like to hear summarize that is creativity is mostly considered as the foundation for generating the ideas. So that is what we have concluded in the question that I raised. And for innovation, there is, as we can see, there is no general agreement between researchers and how to define the term. So we always have to separate creativity and idea, and the creativity bring it in strong relation to idea and the production of ideas and the implementation of ideas. Schumpeter, for example, strictly separates between the creative process and bringing the innovation to a market. For him, everything is viable. At least it comes to the market. Everything else is nothing for him. And in an innovation process, existing knowledge, so our creativity that is applied in new context, and it will generate new knowledge and new artifacts. But I'm turning now the question to, is creativity and innovation an individual inventor skill, or is it a community performance? So the left-hand side of this slide summarizes or would hypothesize that creativity and innovation is a single person's ability, capability, and skill. And the right-hand side of this picture hypothesis, no. Creativity and innovation, that is collaborative and cooperative skill coming from a group of people, coming from the society, coming from a system. What is your perspective on that? I would like to start with Annie. Annie, you are new to the group. What is your perspective on creativity and innovation? Is it an individual skill or is it a community performance? So I'm a little bit silent. Next to me is Alberto. What is your perspective? Is it a community performance or is it an individual skill?
Well, I think that it's both, because maybe creativity is more related with individuals because it starts from an idea from an individual, right? But the innovation at the end needs the collective, so it needs more people to succeed, I think. So I think are both. Maybe creativity is more related with or starts with the individual inventor's skill, and the innovation, to succeed an innovation, it needs maybe the community, I think.
Yeah, so you don't see a border between them.
Yeah, I think it's most related.
Yeah,
I agree. I think creativity often begins has an individual mental process, but to put in practice it requires collectivity and systematic effort to put in practice the ideas. I think the two areas are connected, like Alberto said.
Yeah, I understand.
Sorry, I speak. Oh my God.
It's perfect. I can understand you very well. It's very nice to talk to you. Barry, what is your approach or your perspective?
Yeah, I agree with Alberto, that it can be both individual and community. I think an individual can come up with an idea, but I think most ideas are based on what we see in front of us. Like there's already creations around us by other people. So, but then also to create that image, you probably need help from either maybe there's things around you that have already been created, or you need people that have that can help you put that together. So it can be both.
Mhm. Oh. Plus, I'm also asking. I have two examples in my backpack. Um, I made a study of the U.S. steel industry from the 19th century. And from 1850, so after, or closely after the Civil War in America, there was the rise of the empire of Andrew Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie was the innovator, the investor, and the company owner of his empire. And he didn't share his power with others. So he was everything in his company, and especially the main innovator. And he brought his company to the top of the world. But at the other side, just 30 to 40 years later, there was the rise of JP Morgan. And JP Morgan had a complete different approach. JP Morgan, as highlighted on the right-hand side of this slide, he collaborated with a lot of investors, with business angels and venture capitalists. And he collected a lot of money and were able to compete against the steel empire of Carnegie. And at the end, he was able to buy the market and the business of Carnegie and integrated it into a much, much larger empire than Carnegie and JP Morgan developed. So it's a kind of an individual skill, but also a kind of community performance. Here, I definitely agree with you. So what I would like to do right now, we are close to 11 o'clock, at least here in Austria. I would like to have a short break for 15 minutes and then come back and discuss about the question, let the people co-create. So the question in this session is then how, so if we agree on the definition, the common definition, that creativity and innovation, that is both, it's an individual skill and a community skill. The question then is, how can people co-create and bring in their creativity and launch innovation? So at the moment, I'm a little bit weird because in Austria there is a heavy thunderstorm now. And yesterday we had about 15 degrees, 10 to 15 degrees, and now it's decreasing to 0 degrees. Now it's a little bit. It's autumn at the moment. Okay, then if we are all, then I would propose that we are starting with the discussion about how to let the people co-create, how to demand the people to be creative and innovative. And my approach is coming, of course, from my studies and one of my studies was funded by the A-Ring project. And the A-Ring project that was an international project within the area of the Alpine space. And what we are facing here in the Alpine space, that we have several or multiple systems. For example, we have many cultures. We have many different cultures. We have many different languages, and we have many different political systems. For example, in Switzerland, there is a direct democracy. In Liechtenstein, which is next to Vorarlberg, we have a monarchy. We have the Austrian democracy, we have the German democracy, the Italian democracy, and also the French democracy. We have EU members in this area, and we have not non-EU members in this area. For example, Liechtenstein and Switzerland, they are not members of the European Union. And within this ARING project, so it was about bringing together the innovation capacity of all the member states of the Alpine space. Here we were tasked to develop creative thinking approaches to bring together different stakeholders from, for example, politics, from business and industry, from society, from different countries with the different languages, with different perspectives, and according to their jobs, with, of course, different goals and different objectives. So we were tasked to consider and combine these various requirements, and also to interconnect the innovation system and also the innovators with it. In total, the project, it was about 11 project participants coming from France until, so France on the west, Vienna on, or Burgenland on the east, and Germany on the north, and Italy on the south. And as you can see here, we were developing a system that considers the heterogeneous requirements from the interconnected innovators through innovation methods. And in this project, we developed innovation methods, or an innovation suitcase. And this innovation suitcase, with this suitcase, we were able to combine and bring together the different requirements from the different stakeholders. And what we have done in this project, that is, we were separating innovation and creativity methods into layers or levels. So we are starting on the top of this pyramid, and this top of the pyramid, that is about the stakeholders integration. So how is the innovation process shaped, and how is the overall innovation process? With this approach, we were thinking about the integration of the different stakeholders from the different countries, from the different languages, since it is not feasible if you address wrong innovation methods to a wrong stakeholder group. So for example, nobody of the engineers would be interested in social innovations engineering. They are considered to focus on technological innovation methods, and they would get lost. On the layer 1, we were defining events. So that is the macro level. And in this layer, we were discussing the question, what events or activities can be used during the phases of the all-over process? So how can we address the different requirements from the stakeholders, and how can we collect and where can we collect the different requirements so that we can bring them together and discuss them together as we did in the previous session. On the layer 2, we were thinking about the innovation and the creativity and research methods, and the guiding question was what methods can be used during an activity or an event. And the third layer, that was about the micro level, how can we apply the selected method, and how can we further split the method into single process steps, and picking up the stakeholders and enable them their participation in the particular processes. The development of this layer model resulted in to this picture. So, for example, on the layer on the top layer, the layer number 1, we had to identify the grant theories, the grant innovation theories in innovation and creativity techniques. So these are, for example, open innovation processes, so that we can include, for example, the broad society, the industry, the governance system, political system, and the academic system at one place. Then participation process, how we launch this open innovation, threads processes, design thinking process, so that we enable them to co-create with different artifacts. So, for example, Lego or Duplo and other artifacts that are used mostly from children, or are we able to do some actual research? So going directly into the field, observe some events like natural hazards in case of doing innovation with fire brigades or with emergency teams or blue light organizations. On the layer 2, so we had to define the macro method, and it is also related to define the field. Because, for example, if you do some economic development, business development, it is better to have SWOT analysis combined with a PESTEL analysis instead of, for example, do prototyping. If you have engineers on board in this co-creation, creativity, and innovation process, it would be better to have an artifact in mind or on the table, and the engineers can see it and start to think about this artifact and start to prototype extensions and also further innovations of this artifact. We have identified, for example, the SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis that helps in economic development, political development, and the announcement of policy briefs, the PESTEL analysis that separates the system, the world in that we are participating into, the political environment, the economic environment, the social, the technological, and the legislative environment, we have identified the ARIS technique, the World Café technique. So World Café, that means you are going into, you are building up a distinct environment for innovation, and you implement some tables in the room, and the participant can go from table to table and listen to the innovators and contribute by own ideas into that. We also identified the idea emergency kits, the business model canvas when it comes to the modeling of new businesses, the implementation and the launch of new products or services, case study research if it is a study, or also prototyping when we have some engineers with us on board. The layer 2, so the third layer here, that is about the meso instruments or the meso methods that are used for creativity and innovation engineering. So here we have, for example, brainstorming techniques, but also brainwriting techniques, pinboard evaluation, future quickies, so that you prospect the future, how it could be, and use your imagination and your approach towards science fiction. Get out and walk, so that you are not limited to a single room, but to the whole environment, and you are creating your innovation out of the university, out of the building. You have some interview techniques and also again some prototyping techniques. And on the micro level, so the layer 3, we have specified all the techniques that have been defined in the layers before and made available for or applicable for the innovators. And how it looks here again, that is very similar representation of what I told you before. Here, for example, on the layer 3, we have identified brainwriting techniques, the 6 Hats technique, the brain chartering technique, mind mapping, one-shot videos, and so on. But I will present them, or at least make some examples later in my presentation. And the question now is how this innovation methods suitcase is working. So what we are doing with that is we are combining the techniques that we have identified as relevant for combining the different stakeholders. So on the macro level, on the figure below, we selected, for example, to do a SWOT analysis with politicians, with people from the government and the society. And to bring everyone on board, we said we will use, for example, brainstorming techniques or pinboard moderation. But it is still a very, very broad definition about how to use brainstorming, because as you can see here on the lowest level, on the micro method level, brainstorming can be applied by using mind mapping, by brain charting, asking what is the opposite, saying, or at the announcement of the bullseye evaluation, the Ishikawa diagram, the 5 why methods, or the 6 thinking methods. What we then did, that is, we categorized the identified methods, the meso and the micro methods, into 6 distinct categories or families. And these families are methods, for example, methods for free associative thinking, So, and that happens in an oral or in a written way. The methods of idea generation separated by personal space and time. Methods for searching for transferable external solutions. Methods for tapping into unrelated stimulus material like synectic methods. Methods for systematically searching and exchange the existing solutions. Methods for systematically recording what is possible. So it's also like a morphological method. And now I'm going into the 6 categories and provide you some methods, meso and micro methods, how to apply and how to come to force the people to be creative and bring innovation to the paper. So the methods for free associative thinking, they can be applied in an oral or in a writing way. So it's very similar, or the most known method that would be the card method. I think you already experienced it. So you are in a workshop and there is a workshop moderator, and this workshop moderator asks you to participate in an ideation process. So writing down the idea or your contribution on paper and pin the paper to a pinboard. That is a kind of a brainstorming technique. But the brainstorm is a kind of a brainstorming technique. And nowadays we can make use of this brainstorming technique on physical way. So you are in a room, in a presence as a person, and you are in touch with the others, or you are in an online room. So, and here you have several methods like the mirror board or other methods that can be made use by using online. But when we are talking about this associative thinking, then brainstorming also can be separated into other methods. For example, and the also method. That means you are listening to an innovation or to an idea that the previous participant announced, and then you contribute with your own idea to this previous idea. Or you can also announce your own idea and write it on a paper and hand it over to the next, or pin it on the pinboard. The stop and go method in brainstorming, that would be you have intensive intervals of brainstorming. So, for example, you meet for 20 to 30 minutes and force the people to think about and talk about and discuss about an idea. So that would be the go. The stop then would be the complete opposite. You're going out for 20 to 30 minutes, you settle down, you rest, and come back for the next phase, for the next sprint. So you are going again from 0 to hero, and in the stop, you're going from the hero to the 0. The wildest idea technique, that is a technique that allows you to go and think out of the box. So you are starting to think about ideas that cannot happen, but you give the way for the others to contribute to this idea, at least to say, okay, please lower my idea because it's the wildest idea, but where is a kind of an agreement of implementation of this idea and turning this idea into an innovation. The solo brainstorming method that is a method that only includes an individual. So, for example, Barry, if you would like to do creative technique for your own, you're applying the solo or brainstorming technique, and you're using several methods like mind mapping or the Excel technique, and write down your own thoughts and thinking about a possible idea. The anonymic brainstorming technique, that would be you are going to the participants and you are not asking them for their personalities. So you are not interested in their contact details, but in their ideas. So you give them a sheet of paper and say, okay, you can put this piece of paper into on a table, and this will then be collected afterwards and then analyzed and evaluated. Then we have, for example, team collaboration techniques and gleanings. So reading the manual, not the manuals, the reports out of these brainstorming techniques, but also what we can apply here, that is, for example, that I like most, these are brain writing techniques. Brain writing techniques allows you to include the silent people. Here in Austria, we have a metaphor. We are saying silent waters are deep, and the silent people, they mostly have the best ideas, but it's always to activate their capital. And with the brain writing technique, we can activate them, because then they do not need to announce their idea, but only to read it down, either to hand the writing over to the next participant, or pin it to a pinboard. The 3-6-5 method, that is about 3 ideas will be discussed by 6 innovators, 6 participants of this workshop, and will be discussed about 5 minutes, so that every idea has a kind of a consideration by 6 innovators, and will be discussed for 5 minutes. And then we have cards techniques and card circulation techniques, so that as highlighted on this screen, that you either use it on an online way with Miro and other online tools, or you do it in a presence way or in a hybrid way, where you contribute to cards either by pinning them on an online or a digital pinboard or a physical pinboard, or you circulate the cards in this workshop and hand over your initial idea to the participant to the left or to the right, and get the idea from the other participants to contribute. Methods of idea generation separated by personal space and time. So, for example, these methods are not restricted or limited to a certain time, and these methods can happen, for example, all over a day, all over a week or a month or longer, and a lot of people, also non-invited people, can contribute to the generation of ideas and innovation. For example, the collective notebook method, that would be a method that you exhibit a kind of a notebook on a very central place, like in the kitchen of your organization or somewhere else where a lot of people meet together, and then you offer them the opportunity to contribute to this notebook by let them inserting their ideas into this notebook. After a while, so for example, after a week or after a month, you pick up this notebook and then you start reading and clustering and conceptualizing the ideas that have been collected in this notebook. And the idea Delphi that is also not is a method that is not limited to time. It is very comparable to the Delphi method and includes, for example, experts. And during the time and at different spaces, multiple experts are engineering an idea from the idea until the innovation. And methods for external solutions, that is, for example, bionic, and as displayed on this picture, you are observing, as innovator, you are observing the nature, and based on your observation, you transfer your observation into technique, into social, into economics, into politics, and so on. So or an example would be, you observe an eagle, and based on the insights that you gain by the flight of an eagle, you constantly engineer an airplane, for example. Other examples would be researchers observed sharks, for example. They are the fastest fish in the ocean, and they observed their body, their skin, and made and transferred their observation into mechanical engineering, and it's also known as a kind of cybernetics. Then we have methods for tapping into unrelated stimulus materials. So that is, for example, imaginative brainstorming, the force fit to game, the Tilmec method, and visual synaptic methods. And the fifth one, that is about methods for systematically searching for changes to existing solutions. So the deconstructive, constructive brainstorm technique, the Osborne checklist, and the question technique. So in the destructive and the constructive brainstorm technique, you are requested to discuss and evaluate the ideas generated by brainstorming on a very destructive way, and also in a constructive way. So you are doing real-time evaluation of the ideas in a positive and in a negative way. And by using a question technique, you are going into the approaches of the former Greek philosophist Socrates, using noetic approaches, so asking the right question. Why could it happen? What is the goal? How can we proceed, and so on. So these are very critical questions, but it helps not only the participant to reflect on the idea, but also the whole group to think about and also further elaborate the feasibility of the idea. And in the methods for the systematically recording, what is possible? So these are morphological methods. Here you are working on more on the engineering side. You are elaborating Excel list, and then you are starting to list all the attributes of your idea and then check the feasibility. So, and how does this methodological suitcase look like? So on the layer 0, so you need to decide what you are doing. In this case, we decided to use an open innovation and a co-creative process. And then on the layer 1, we had to define the events. For example, in the beginning, we said we will do an environmental scanning and make use in the layer 2 and the layer 3 on qualitative research, so like online service and policy reviews. Based on these insights that we have gained, for example, we are going into the second step of the ideation phase. We need to define how we can pick up our stakeholders group. Here we have defined, for example, workshops, brainstorming workshops, and workshops using the Pinboard moderation. And if you have a lot of different stakeholders, it makes sense to apply brainwriting or mind mapping as a brainstorming technique, because then you take the fear out of the stakeholders because they do not know each other, and a lot of people are afraid to talk in the public and or are afraid to be blamed about their idea. And by the Pinboard moderation, we applied, for example, the 6 thinking heads. So that is an evaluation technique. You're taking over several and distinct roles, ranging from negative criticism to a positive criticism to a neutral perspective to an innovative perspective, and start to do the evaluation of the idea collected. And as least the third part of this innovation process, we decided to do a documentation and using here, for example, the content analysis method. And this resulted into the clustering of the ideas, including the evaluation that we already did in the beginning. So now I would be at the end of my presentation, of my short lecture on creativity and innovation. And I would be open for a few questions, but I need to apologize. It cannot take too long because in 10 minutes I need to go for a lecture. So are there some questions?
Thank you, Florian. I have to say I'm very interested about these methods because I'm doing right now a SWOT analysis here.
Okay.
It was very helpful for me. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So if you have some questions and if you need some additional support or have questions that coming out of my presentation, but you're not able to articulate them right now, please contact me. I'm available. Here you can see my contact details, florian.maurer@fhv.at. So I'm there for you and we can exchange our ideas and support each other.
Thanks. So I think so. It comes up. Yes.
Okay, then I say thank you for your attendance. Thanks for the active participation and especially the the interactive discussion. I enjoyed it very, very much, and I would really like it if it would be similar in the lectures that I'm doing with my students, because it's always learning for me too. So thanks that you attended these workshops. Thanks for letting me learn. Thanks for sharing the experiences and approaches, perspectives with me. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you very much.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.